Um, could you talk about what it's going to be like calling plays without Hopkins, but having the additions of I'm sorry, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, and David Johnson?
I think when you look at the people that we have in our offensive unit room right now, you've got a lot of explosive players there for us. Okay, guys that have unique skill sets, guys that are experienced, and guys that have produced at a high level, in this league. So, yeah, it's a exciting thing to be able to kind of sit back and watch those guys kind of come together throughout this virtual offseason and learn the offense and kind of come together as one unit.
Adam Wexler.
Hey, Coach. Anthony Weaver the other day said progress was really good with these Zoom meetings and teaching installs and everything because you really can get into a lot of the details because this is all that you've got. Do you feel similarly, especially working with so many new parts to your offense?
Yeah, sure, Adam. I think, anytime, if you have the opportunity to get your hands on them and be able to get them out on the grass, I think you'd rather do that, obviously, with being able to allow those players, those new pieces to kind of build that chemistry, on the grass. But as far as what we're able to do throughout these Zoom meetings, it's really kind of a unique deal, right? Because everybody seems to be more comfortable in front of the screen, whether it's in front of their phone or their tablet or their computer. So the communication that's going on right now between our players, between one another, between coach to player, player to coach, has really been encouraging. So while you're able to kind of dive into those details and really, I know we said getting to the graduate level portion of it. I think you'd always really want to be able to get your hands on them and be able to use the grass. But for our guys to be able to come in here and approach this offseason the way that they have in such an uncertain time, it's really been encouraging.
Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Tim.
Aaron.
Congratulations on now being the primary play caller. You've been working with OB for a while now. What is that experience like for you to now take to the level of calling the plays? And what do you envision for the offense? As John asked about DeAndre Hopkins and him being traded to the Cardinals with kind of distribution of targets, what do you envision in terms of the offense? And what's it like to replace a player like DeAndre and not have him in the offense?
Yeah, I think anytime you take the field with multiple weapons, multiple guys who can hurt a defense at a variety of different levels, not just necessarily deep, short, or intermediate, but really be able to threaten every aspect of the field, it's a good thing. So, as far as being able to attack the defenses and really, as each opponent kind of presents its own issue, but really being able to take advantage of different matchups throughout the entire field and not necessarily one player. It's an encouraging thing. Again, we've got a great quarterback, a guy who's going to be able to distribute the ball, and again get the ball to the guys that are winning. And we've got guys who've won consistently for a long time. Scattered throughout that room. You look at Brandon, you look at Randall, you look at Will and Kenny. Obviously, with the production they had last year, Kiki and DeAndre Carter, Stevie Mitchell made some big plays. Okay. Obviously those are guys that have produced and that are coming in, with a great mindset, but with a chip on their shoulder and are working hard every day to make sure they're on the same page with the coaching staff and making sure they're on the same page.
Pat.
Hey, Tim. Hope all's well with you and your family. You're now in the quarterback room. Can you talk about how that transition is going with you, not only calling the plays, and also, do you feel like the personnel is being better adjusted to Deshaun Watson's skill set this season with the new additions? I think as the adjustment, if you will, to being in the quarterback room, I spent a lot of time in that room last year. Working with, closely with Deshaun and AJ and Alex and, Coach Carl Smith. So there's not really too much of an adjustment that's going on with that. And yeah, I think, Deshaun's obviously excited to get to work with these guys and see what they can do once they can all get together.
Brandon Scott.
Hey, Tim. congratulations on the on getting the promotion to call plays. What was it about last season and what your role is last season and how it's changing this season that changed or helped prepare you to be able to call the plays in 2020?
Yeah, I think anytime you're doing something for the first time, there's going to be some form of learning process. So last year, being in the offensive coordinator position, for the first time, it was the first time I'd done it. So I was learning something from OB every week, every game, every day we were in there. So being able to take those lessons and make sure that we're able to improve in certain areas, as we move forward here was a good thing.
Mark Berman.
Hey, Tim, a couple questions. What are your expectations for wearing this coming season? And you talk about the significance of having your O-line back intact, all your starters.
Sure, Mark. Starting with Kahale, he's doing a good job, as they all are, right? That entire room, with Akins and Jordan Thomas and Fells and Kahale, and they're doing a great job coming here and working with Coach Will Lawing and making sure that they're on top of it. So the expectation for Kahale is for him to be on top of his game mentally when he comes in, just like all of them, and be able to compete, for a spot once we get on the grass. As far as the offensive line, it's really, I believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the first time that we've had all 5 starters back since we've been here. So, that position especially, there's a lot of chemistry that goes into playing that position, of playing next to one another, how certain people are going to handle certain blocks and how it's going to feel and the different responses and reactions that you'll get. And I'm sure Coach Dev will be able to get into that, in depth with you if you'd like. But having all 5 of those guys back is vital. It's a good thing, and it's something that we're definitely excited for.
Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Tim, when you look at some of the new additions, what do you see specifically in terms of some of the things they bring to the table in David Johnson, Brandon Cooks, and Randall Cobb? If you could kind of just give us a little thumbnail on each guy and also the offensive players that you drafted.
Yeah, sure. Well, with the guys that have drafted, obviously, they're here putting in their work, just trying to catch up. They're so far behind, and it's not their fault. They're just rookies. They're so far behind the vets right now that they're doing what they can, meeting extra with position coaches, meeting extra with one another to try and close the gap between them and the vets. So they're doing a good job as far as that's concerned. With the new players that are in the room, all of them to a T have been great professionals. They come in. It's been great communication between everybody, kind of talking about what they see, talking about how they've treated things in the past in different places. And again, like this setting, this medium that we're using has really allowed people to open up the lines of communication. And it's been great, from David to Randall to Brandon. They've all come in and made contributions in terms of how they've seen things and in terms of what they like. It's really been an interesting thing to kind of take part of, especially with this unique circumstance we have with it doing it all virtually.
Adam Moxler.
Hey, Tim, do you think Fuller and Stills and maybe now even Cooks can play inside and on the outside? And this question seems almost obvious, but the excitement level that you've gotten from Deshaun about working with this new group and kind of unleashing a new look offense with you and everybody that's there now.
Yeah, I think Deshaun's excited. I don't want to speak for him, but we're with the communication that we've had, these however many days throughout this virtual offseason, he's come in with a great mindset, coming in trying to get better at some areas and really take grasp of the offense. So he's doing a great job as far as that's concerned. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously there's versatility that goes along with playing in that wide receiver position and being able to play inside and outside and do some different things and, have a diversified route tree. It's all things that are going to help us basically take the next step here as an offense.
Pat.
Tim, you have Duke Johnson now coming the second year in the offense. I know he got late. He was here late last year in the camp. Now David Johnson. Can you speak on how important it is now to have backs where you possibly have on all 3 downs a running threat and a pass catching threat, and what that does for an offense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it opens up
the play calling, obviously, you're not limited by, a guy's ability to only run the ball or only catch the ball. When you have guys that are versatile and are both, vital running threat and a good receiving threat, it allows you to open up and be creative and find different ways to get guys the ball in space and do some good things. So, we're excited to have both those guys back there, and especially with Duke, this is the first offseason that Duke's going through. It's the first offseason with us that Laramie's going through. It's the first offseason with us that Kenny's going through. So, a lot of this stuff that we're covering right now, it's the first time they're really being able to kind of hear it in depth, and it's really, really good.
Aaron Wilson.
Mute.
Aaron, I'll come back to you, Aaron. It's not letting me unmute
Muted.
you. Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry. Tim, when you look at Laramie and the fact that now that he's just acquired what he has right before the season kind of thrown in, how much better do you feel like he can play even now that he has more of a comfort level with the offense? And I wanted to see if you'd had a chance to talk with Will Fuller as he, keeps working and rehabbing and how he's doing, and just kind of as he tries to get back to full strength.
Yeah, and all the conversations I've had with Will have been encouraging. So, he's been good in the meeting room. He's been great with his position coach, John Perry. So we're encouraged by that. And as far as Laramie, him being here for the off season is going to be very beneficial. But again, more importantly, when we all get together and him being able to get those training camp reps, those reps with, the offensive line with Max and things like that are you cannot. I can't stress how important those are for an offensive line to be able to kind of come together and play as one unit. So it's a good thing that we have all five of those guys coming back.
Brandon Scott.
Hey Tim, when you watch Deshaun on tape, what are some of the areas where you guys from a coaching standpoint want to see him improve as a quarterback? And I know that earlier you said that you guys were already in close communication even last year, but as the play caller, does the communication and the relationship with Deshaun have to develop even more for you guys to be successful?
Sure. I think you always, as you're calling plays or you're a part of the play calling process, you want to make sure that you're seeing the game through the same really set of eyes as the quarterback, that you're all on the same page, that you all have the same vision of the play when the play gets called. And, that's something when as we continue to grow, that's going to be important. There's things that Deshaun needs to get better at, and as all of us need to improve on. So we've talked about that with him, coming out and being consistent and playing at that, he set the bar so high. So it's really a challenge for him to be able to play at that level, every time he steps on the field.
Great. Thanks so much, everyone. We appreciate your time.